What's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about the most talked about question topic from Club Nationals, and that is the strip call at the end of the DiG truck stop game in the quarterfinal of the men's division. Certainly got a ton of attention on social media about the outcome of the game. Some people saying asterisk, next to truck stops win. Some people saying, hey, the outcome of the game, should it have been different? So we're going to talk about all of that right now. So I am going to start the film here. This is the last point. We're on 14-14, and we're just going to talk about what happens here at the end of the game prior to the call that sets it up. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts on each of the different questions that have been asked. So I'm going to just start playing it right here. We're going to show DiG here. They're moving it up the field pretty well. Basically a dominator that they've got going on here. That was a nice break right there. You see Max got the disc in the middle of the field. And here's a key break right here. So this is where I want to just call out one thing here. So Mac has been really the primary bus driver for DiG. Just done an excellent job, really tough to guard, very confident thrower. And if he's able to get off good breaks, I mean, it's really difficult to guard. So he had been playing well this game, and I think here is the beginning. So here's what happens. Max is just going to not really set himself. He's just going to flip a backhand to the space. And in my opinion, I think perhaps a little too cavalier and relaxed in his motion, which can sometimes be a good thing. You want to have confidence. But in my opinion, just a little too cavalier, because here is an opportunity where he may have been able to put him in the end zone. There's a little bit of wind, and candidly, you want to be safe with your throws, but had a potential chance if he set himself rather than just flip it. So I'm just going to play it so you can just watch. He just kind of runs through that and just flips it out to space, which again, pretty much guarantees a completion here. But he didn't really set himself, and he kind of just made it so the receiver here tries to run it on, but he's not quite able to get it in. You can see his foot there is on the line. He is not in the end zone. The receiver, frankly, could have towed it in, but he didn't. And I think perhaps if Max set himself, could have potentially gotten off a little more spacious throw, or maybe on a little bit more velocity there, kind of to the space. Or potentially the receiver could have towed it in. But nonetheless, that didn't happen. So Mac was kind of getting excited that he was in. You're going to see his hands go up here, right here. So everybody's excited. Was he in? No. Observer here on the right side of the screen is calling him out. At this point, if you are Truck, you are like, oh, gosh, are we about to lose this game? We're the number one seed. This has been a rough, we've had to play a tough pre-quarter game. We lost 2 games in pool play. You're got to be thinking, goodness gracious, we're like so close to being out here. So he's out. So Peter gets the disc. Mac kind of gets it right here. So I want you to watch Mac here. So Peter does a great play. He cuts straight across, gets out of the way, clearing potential break space right here. He's coming across the screen here. If you kind of notice, he's not in the end zone right now. He's cutting across straight, and he started on the end zone line, but now he's cutting about a yard or two on the in line, outside of the end zone. So if Mac throws something now, he's got to throw a little bit past him to get it into the end zone if that's what he's going for. So I'm just going to play this here, and you can see Peter starts to slow down just a little bit. Mac throws that backhand out to space. I'm going to play it just full through. And now the strip call happens. So I'm just going to rewind that because there's a couple things that happen here that I want to talk about. Okay, so what I want you to watch, I'm going to play this full speed, and I want you to watch Mac here. I think he's a little too cavalier, even more so on this throw, because he's already in his mind saying, oh, we got this. Like, I got the swagger, marched down the field against the top-ranked team, and he kind of just flips it up. And also, Peter, the receiver here, doesn't get aggressive enough to go attack it. You're going to see he ends up on the end zone line over here, and he kind of waits for it. And that is never, a good idea in the end zone to do that. You always need to attack the disc. I've seen it happen so many times. I played this game for over 20 years at the top level, and it's happened at least once per nationals, once per tournament, and usually in big game situations that can make a difference between a win and a loss. So I'm just going to play this full speed. So I want you to watch Mac first and kind of how he just kind of flips it, a little too cavalier in my opinion, and then Peter doesn't go after it well enough. So just watch. See, Mac gets it, just flips it straight up a little too far, and then Peter just kind of, he doesn't look like he attacks it too much. He's kind of just like, oh, I'm going to wait. I don't think there's anybody there, and he doesn't really account for a defender to potentially come in and get it. So again, one more time, Mac's thinking it's in, comes it back, he just kind of flips it up. So right here, Peter is trying to toe this line. If he wants, he can go out it even just a little bit, and he might not end the end zone, but at least he's going to catch it. And as you're going to see, he does get it. So hold on. Just play it one more time. Can't really rewind it. So we're going to come here, and you're going to see. So question. He's got control, in my opinion. Does he have control of the disc? In my opinion, that looks stopped. He's got it in his hand. Is his foot down in the end zone? To me, that foot is down. And AJ does not have it yet. So to me, is this a strip? Yes. And if that's a strip, should have been a goal. But at the time, they did not have the ability to review this. So the footage was not a kind of live filmed game. They were just recording it. And so it wasn't until after this game had concluded that they were able to get the video evidence that this indeed was a strip call. So, as this plays out, it's a long kind of conversation, but they end up ruling that it is not a strip, and Chuck goes down to score. So certainly unfortunate for DiG, and there was a lot of people saying, hey, Truck Stop should not have won this game. DiG should have won the game. And while certainly those people have an argument, what I want to do right now is say that, first of all, this is not the first time that this has happened in sports, where there is a questionable call at the end of the game. And usually it happens in sports. You've seen it in Super Bowls. You've seen it in big championships, a lot of times in football, where there is video replay and the call still doesn't appear to be correct. And whether it's a pass interference call or something along those lines that determines the outcome of a game for one team or the other. And while it does certainly seem unfair, if you've played sports at a high level, you know that there are plenty of opportunities besides that one that decides the game or seemingly decides the game that can determine the outcome of the game. So I'm going to show you 3 other moments where DiG failed to capitalize on an opportunity to win this game. Okay, so this is a break chance for DiG. This was a Truck O point. DiG has worked it all the way up the field. It's 3-2, and they've got it about, call it 15 to 20 yards outside of the end zone. So we're in an end zone situation here, and a golden opportunity for DiG to score. And so I'm going to play it here. You're going to see the disc is near the sideline on the right side of your screen. And I'm just going to play this here, and you're going to see the cutter just go up the line. You see a little hesitation, and Johnny Mox makes a really awesome play to get that D. And it's just unfortunate because he really had an open shot if he threw a soft shot. And so you can see that it was just a little too far, a little too low, a little too close to the sideline, not far enough and not high enough for the offender to make a play. So that was, again, a golden opportunity to get the break, but missed at 3-2. All right, so this is a DiG O point, and DiG has worked it down the field. They're, about 2/3 or so the way down the field. I'm just going to play it here, and you're going to see, so you've got Mac just passed it off, and so you've got here, So there's a foul called on Solomon calls a foul, and there's a long conversation here. And I only make note of that because you could tell that Solomon's a little frustrated, feels the marker stepping into him. He's being a little aggressive. I'd say the mark is definitely doing very well here. So I'm going to play it here, and so you're going to see it come back in. So it's a long conversation. You could tell there's probably a little frustration here, and Solomon's probably trying to get it off. Mac is kind of the main bus driver here. It's a great decision to get it to Mac in the middle of the field, open things up. So Marker's playing pretty kind of, I wouldn't say completely no around, but I'd say kind of flat. He's giving him the up line and trying to prevent a little bit of the around and make it difficult. And I'm just going to play this. You're going to see just pivots once, and there's a hand block right there that causes that turnover. So Solomon was about 15-ish yards out of the end zone. Golden opportunity for the offense, and Truck does go down and score just like last time. It could have been a tie ball game, 7-7, but instead Truck marches down the field and scores at 8-6. So what I actually want to do is just point out what to do here in this situation. When a marker is playing pretty flat, so you can just tell he's got his hand up, knowing the lefty, they can get those high releases off, but you need to be able to step out, not into the thrower, to give yourself space to throw. If you pivot out this way, it's much more difficult for the defender to cover that, and you don't open yourself up to the potential of a hand block. So you just watch where he pivots. You can tell he's pivoting towards almost the marker there, and it just makes it that much less distance for the marker to get to make a play. If he were to pivot, you see a shadow over here. If he were to pivot in that direction, I mean, not completely backwards, but kind of towards the observer over here, he's got all this space to throw to. Yeah, you might lose a few yards, but that's the marker's taking that space away, and a quick marker is going to make that really difficult and potentially get that hand block. So pivoting away from the marker, especially in those kind of tight situations off the line where they mark around, is really important to helping avoid that hand block. Okay, so the next example is another end zone opportunity for DiG. Here it's at 9-7, and DiG is on offense, and they work it up the field very quickly here. So I'm just going to play this, and you're just going to see Mac's going to get up a nice throw here. We're going to end up here on the end zone line. And basically what's going to happen here is Mac is going to cut up the line. And this is another situation like we saw earlier with the disc about 15-ish yards out of the end zone and a poor upline pass, and it's not completed. And so you're just going to see here, Mac's going to throw it, and he just throws that a little too low, a little too hard, making it just much too difficult. And so just watch here. And again, Mac's going to go up the line. He just throws it. It's about knee-ish level. He throws it pretty hard. So Mac's got to lay out at full speed, and that's a difficult play to make. I'm putting a link up here in the top right for you to click that upline throw, especially on the flick sideline. Both those throws were flicks. If you remember, the earlier one was a lefty flick. This is a righty flick up the line. It is a very difficult throw, and if you can make that throw consistently in these high-level games, it makes the difference between winning and losing. And so that is a very difficult throw. If you can throw that at about shoulder height, pretty much flat and soft out to the space, even in slightly windy conditions, I mean, that is a dangerous throw and can just decimate teams. I mean, if Mac catches this here, likely going to be a goal. In that other situation, if it's thrown a little bit differently, likely a goal. So go check out that video. I think you'll find it very helpful, especially as an important skill in these big game situations. Truck does go down to score this point, making it 10-7. So another missed opportunity for DiG near the end zone. All right, so this is another golden opportunity for DiG to get the score, go up 14-12, put themselves in a huge position to win this game. They were up 1, potentially to go up 14-12, and I'm just going to play this here. I am just going to play this here and just watch DiG. Mac gets this, He gets a nice break off. Mac's really good at that. And he's just going to kind of stay near the disc. And you got, so Mac's got this right here. You got an open guy down here. And Mac's got his defender behind him a little bit. So I'm just going to play this through. And he just throws a high release backhand. And the wind just takes it. And I mean, they were just about 5 yards maybe outside of that end zone. Just a big missed opportunity for DiG here. Nice break there. And again, Mac's just trying to get this, but the wind just takes it, and just not the smartest decision there at 13-12. That's where you've got to really hang on, make the easy throw, use your legs. Don't try to get cute, because against these good teams, they're going to take advantage of it. So that is 3 opportunities that we've now talked about that DiG could have taken advantage of, but were not able to, and Truck was the one that took advantage of it. So DiG could have, in each of these situations, put those end zone opportunities in for scores, and especially this last one, up 13-12, 5 yards out of the end zone, just moving it nicely. And Mac makes the decision to throw that high release, wind takes it, and Truck goes down and scores and ties it up at 13. So, moral of the story, was it a strip? I think so. Was he in the end zone? I think so. Should DiG have won the game? I do think so. But does it put an asterisk on anything that Truck has done? I don't think so. And if you look at sports, as I mentioned, there are lots of places where pass interference calls should have been made, should not have been made, changing outcomes of big games. There's no asterisks at all in those. It's just, that's the nature of sports. It's not perfect. However, the one thing I will say is that ultimate frisbee is different, and we do like to call the sport different. And spirit of the game is something that USA Ultimate, always pushes as a differentiator in the sport. And so whether you think that that's equal to sportsmanship and whatnot, regardless of what your opinion is of that, I would like to think in the future that if we have live video evidence, certainly we'd be able to rectify and make the correct call. And I'd also like to see in the future, and obviously if I was in that position with Truck Stop, you're kind of in the moment. That'd be a hard decision to make. I mean, that takes courage to say, you know what, after the fact, after we saw video evidence, yeah, that he looks like he caught that score. Looks like DiG probably should have won that game. That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of humility, and that's a difficult thing for sure. I mean, sports are tense. You train for hours and days, months, years to put yourself in these positions, and it's super, super hard to win nationals. So you don't want it to be taken away just like that because of, some video evidence that came about later. But at the end of the day, that is what really happened, and that looks to appear of what happened. So, I think the moral would be for me is that, if this were to happen again in the future, ideally we'd have that video evidence. Would have loved to see this, be provided in the heat of the moment. I would have loved to see the observer not make a decisive call like that and perhaps send it back, because to me, even in fast motion, it does not look like it was decisively AJ's Truck Stop's discs. So I would not have liked to see the observer make a decisive call like that. But at the end of the day, DiG had plenty of opportunities to win this game, and they could have certainly won it well before that incident happened. So my hope for the future is that a team, if this ever happened again, that they would have the courage and humility to, once provided the right information, to rectify that. I think of any sport in the world, ultimate frisbee can lead that change within sports. I mean, could you imagine for a second that in the NBA, a ref made a call and, I don't know, the guy stepped out of bounds, or God forbid, on the last play of the NBA Finals, You get Giannis, guarding, I don't know, LeBron James, and then LeBron misses the shot, and Giannis just says, "Oh, you know what? I fouled him. It was actually a foul." So LeBron goes to the free throw line, scores, and hits 2 free throws, and they win the game. I mean, could you imagine something like that? I mean, that would be a beautiful world. And so, I think in the ultimate community, we're ahead in a certain aspect in terms of sportsmanship and trying to find justice in the right call and the right outcome. So I'd like to see that continue to grow at the highest levels of the sport. So thanks for watching. Curious your thoughts on the outcome of the game, what you thought of the strip, or certainly DIG's opportunities to potentially win, or what would you do if you were on truck and you were in that situation? How would you handle that? So love to hear your thoughts and comments. Thanks for watching.